Well, voters outside of Gravette city limits reject a plan to pay their volunteer fire department dues. How the department now plans to move forward. That story's ahead.
And it's still going to be warm and muggy this afternoon, but not nearly as bad as it was yesterday. Cold front coming in, so that's going to bring some changes back into the forecast. We'll talk about that, plus what's in store for your weekend forecast coming up in just a bit.
Really want to make sure that the cultural and ceremonial integrity of this place is preserved.
And state officials plan to carry out a full land study on the site of a local prison project. Here's the reaction from a tribe who says their ancestors may be buried on the land.
Taking a live look out in Bentonville. Good Thursday morning to you there. It's 6:30. 5 News This Morning starts now.
Covering news where you live. This is 5 News This Morning.
Well, good morning. Thanks so much for waking up with us this morning here on Channel 5 and streaming on 5 Plus. I think we're off to a great start this morning. Kind of muggy, but it's all right, right?
Yeah, it could be a lot worse. It's going to get a lot muggier this summer and hotter.
Give us some good news.
Ouch.
What
Tomorrow's
a way.
Friday.
Hey, I like it.
There we go. We can always count on Steven.
It's not that bad out there. It's muggy right now. Yes, it was hot yesterday. Those thunderstorm chances, though, that's where we run into really the rest of this week through the weekend and into early next week. It's not going to be a complete washout. Please don't cancel your plans every day through the weekend. We're just going to be dealing with those off and on thunderstorms, an active pattern like we usually say. That's going to continue over the next several days. Waking up this morning, though, it's still muggy. It's warm out there into those mid-70s as you head out the door this morning. You can feel the humidity out there. By the time we get to this afternoon into the evening, cold front's going to work in. That's what's going to increase those rain chances and thunderstorm chances for us. Futurecast shows us this. Throughout the morning hours, still plenty of sunshine, still very muggy outside. By the time we get to the afternoon, there's that cloud coverage. Cold front works in, and here's those rain chances. Here's a look at 3:30. Maybe those kiddos getting out of school could be dealing with a few of these isolated thunderstorms. Along with that as well, those rain chances continue off and on throughout your evening as well. And over the next several days, we'll have those thunderstorm chances still into the forecast. Overall, that risk for today is low, just that level 1 risk. We'll watch out for a few of those stronger storms northwest Arkansas. The rest of the day today, daytime highs only into those low 80s, and cloud coverage and rain chances increase by the time we get to this afternoon. Across the river valley, same story. Sunshine throughout the morning hours, more cloud coverage, more in the way of those rain chances and thunderstorm chances by the afternoon into the evening, and daytime highs into those mid 80s. This active pattern is going to continue through early next week. Let's take a look at some traffic out there this morning. No accidents, no slowdowns out there right now. There's a live look out at the Johnson Mill camera. Good morning to you there. Heading out to work, no accidents, no slowdowns as of this morning. Some sunshine coming up. A nice start to your Thursday morning.
All right, thank you, Stephen. Well, Oklahoma is the latest state to crack down on cell phones in schools, joining others just like Arkansas in banning student phone use during the school day.
A new law will soon keep phones out of the classrooms from the first bell to the last. Our news reporter Morgan Wrigley is joining us this morning to explain how it could impact the classroom. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, this new law will give every Oklahoma school the chance to test a no phone policy for at least 1 year. After that first year, though, it'll be up to each local school district to decide whether they want to continue the policy. Lawmakers say it's about giving schools the opportunity to see the impact for themselves, hoping reduced distractions and improved focus will make a strong enough case to keep it going. Senator Ali Seifrid, who sponsored the bill, says she heard from teachers in her district about constant classroom distractions. She says giving schools the choice to continue or not after the first year was key to passing the bill, while still providing cover for schools that wanted help enforcing it. She adds schools that have already cracked down on phones have seen positive results, and this law aims to bring consistency statewide.
One ask is please don't make it on the backs of teachers. So I'd love to see the phones removed before even your first class, maybe in homeroom. However the school districts operate, they know their districts better than I do. So I tried to write the bill in a really flexible way while still saying for 7 hours, we're not going to have cell phones. I didn't want it to be, I didn't want the students to have access in between classes, because that meant, again, that would be on each teacher, each class period to say, put it away.
Districts will get to decide how they manage enforcement, whether it's pouches, lockers, or other methods, and there are exceptions for medical needs and emergencies. Morgan Wrigley, 5 News.
All right, thanks for that, Morgan. Well, the Gravette Fire Department is rethinking how it collects their voluntary fire dues after a proposed ballot measure failed in a special election. The measure would have allowed the city to add fire dues to property tax bills for about 3,000 residents living outside of city limits. Right now, the department, though, mails invoices but says less than half ever pay. The proposal failed by just 8 votes. Now the department plans to start billing people who opt out of the voluntary dues when they call for service. Fire officials say the goal was to make things more convenient and to bring in consistent funding as call volumes and costs rise.
Well, the Arkansas Department of Corrections has agreed to conduct a full land study before moving forward with plans for a new 3,000-bed state prison in Franklin County. This comes after outcries against the project from local residents and the Chickamauga tribe. Chief Justin Flanagan says evidence shows an indigenous presence on the land in the past, including evidence of possible Chickamauga burial sites. The Arkansas DOC did an initial report-based study that found no historic archaeological sites. But the chief has continued to press for a more in-depth study. He says he contacted Veneer Construction Management, which has been overseeing the preliminary site assessments.
Reached out to them about the need for cultural impact studies and archaeological studies on this site. I am confident that they took my plea to heart, because shortly after the email that I sent to them, the DOC did update their website indicating that they were going to do the proper archaeological studies here.
5 News reached out to a representative of the DOC who says those studies will be under the scope of the architectural and engineering firm and should commence once their contract is finalized. The state still plans to start construction in September of 2025 and begin operations in 2028. Meanwhile, the Arkansas Board of Corrections is set to discuss choosing a contractor for the Franklin County Prison Project today. They will meet on Zoom for a special meeting at 4 this afternoon. You can follow any updates on that meeting and the plans for the prison project at 5newsonline.com. Well, we're learning more details about an international effort to bring an Arkansas rape suspect back to the U.S.
Yeah, prosecutors say that they can't share much because it does involve a child under 14, but they say that Richard Lim was brought to the county jail after being caught in Thailand. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi has the story.
42-year-old Richard Lim is back in Arkansas. Prosecutors say a day after interviewing with Fayetteville police, Lim took a flight out of Tulsa International to Qatar and eventually made his way to Thailand.
We believe that he was purposefully fleeing. We do have some additional evidence where he called his employer and made up an excuse that was not true about why he wouldn't be at work that night.
Lim is arrested on charges including rape, sexual assault, and grooming a child. Prosecutors say all charges are related to one individual.
When it comes to cases involving minor children of sexual abuse, we have to cover a couple of bases. One base is the privacy of the child, the privacy of the victim. And because of that, we never release details about the case.
Homeland Security, Interpol, and Thai authorities worked to track him down overseas. The U.S. Marshals Service assisted in bringing him back to Washington County.
I want to applaud both the U.S. Marshals, the Fayetteville Police Department, the Washington County Sheriff's Department, and Interpol for locating this man in Thailand and bringing him back. He obviously had no intention of ever seeing Arkansas again.
That was Jacob Luthi reporting. Now, Lim's arraignment is set for June 9th. Prosecutors say his bond is set high at $1 million, and because of that initial fleeing effort during the investigation. Well, happening today, Arkansas officials will hold a public hearing over a proposed permit for a water treatment company. Now, Denali Water Solutions has applied to renew their permit to operate in Crawford County. Today's meeting will take place at the Alma Community Center. It'll be at 6 p.m. Last year, Fort Smith residents filed a lawsuit against the Russellville-based company after complaints about a foul smell in the area. The odor was caused by a lagoon cleanup project that Denali conducted there in Crawford County. But the company told 5 News they took every measure to work quickly and reduce odors.
Well, soon President Trump will travel from Qatar to the United Arab Emirates, the final stop on his 4-day trip to the Middle East. The president signed agreements with Qatar that the White House says will generate at least $1 trillion. On Wednesday, the president and Qatar's head of state watched as Boeing and Qatar Airways signed a deal to buy billions of dollars worth of planes from the American company. And all eyes are on Turkey, where peace talks are expected to start between Russian and Ukrainian officials later today in an effort to bring their war to an end. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky previously said that he would attend the talks and meet with Vladimir Putin in person if the Russian president agreed to the meeting. But so far, Russia's delegation does not appear to list him.
Well, today, Sean Diddy Combs' former long-term girlfriend is back on the stand for cross-examination in his federal sex trafficking trial. Now 38 years old, Cassie Ventura testified that she didn't have the resources to leave the music mogul, saying she was afraid for her life and career after performing in countless drug-fueled sex sessions, some of which she says Combs recorded, and that he would often threaten to release them if she didn't comply. The prosecution alleges Ventura was one of a number of victims of a criminal enterprise that Combs ran, using abuse, intimidation, and drugs to coerce people into sex. One criminal defense attorney says the case hinges on consent.
You'll see the defense really try to seize on small, specific issues, like, for example, it was Cassie that paid the escorts, or other things that could imply that she was the one that wanted to engage in this type of behavior.
The defense has maintained that while Combs had violent outbursts at times, he's ultimately not guilty of the charges against him, including sex trafficking and racketeering. Combs has entered a not guilty plea to all charges in the case.